Well, my next guest has plenty of experience getting information out of Peter Strzok, or at least trying.
Did you write it? Did you write that?
I did write that, sir.
Okay. Were you under duress?
Political expression engaging in hyperbole. That text in no way suggested that I or the FBI would take any action to influence the candidacy of
Agent Strzok. That is a fantastic answer to a question nobody asked.
Yeah. Former House Oversight Committee Chair, former prosecutor, and Fox News contributor Trey Gowdy joins me live. Congressman, good to see you.
You too, Ed. How are you?
What's it like to hear that played back, where Peter Strzok, under oath, told you to your face he didn't try to do anything to influence the election?
Well, Ed, I mean, I'm not a big fan of public hearings. I'm much more of a fan of the deposition. You just made reference to a line of questioning that Johnny Ratcliffe engaged in. I read the deposition again today. The most constructive information we got from Peter Strzok is when we were behind closed doors, no time limits, could ask whatever we want. That's where the real information came. Listening to that, the insurance policy. I mean, being pressed on that. The most charitable view of what they meant by the insurance policy is they had a source. They had a confidential informant that they didn't want to burn. And I would invite you to use this analogy. If you got a drug source, you got a confidential informant, you're not going to use that source to burn Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times, but you might to get Pablo Escobar.
Right.
So their analysis was, we're not going to burn this source because we don't think Donald Trump is going to win. So lay aside their poor election forecasting for a moment. Guess what? He did. So if you have a source that has information or evidence that the leader of the free world is an agent of Russia, come on with it. Give it to us. Your concern that you were burning a source on somebody who couldn't win, that's over.
Here we are more than 2 years later.
Give us the information.
They haven't come out with it more than 2 years later, Congressman. You mentioned John Ratcliffe. Yeah, go ahead.
There is no information because there is nothing. There is no source.
So, John Ratcliffe, you mentioned the questioning. We've got part of that graphic where basically he pressed and said, did Special Counsel Mueller or anyone with the Special Counsel's team, did they come to you, Peter Strzok, and ask you about whether any of this evidence, you know, the insurance policy and all of that had any impact on the election? And Peter Strzok, under oath, says no. Why hasn't Bob Mueller or any other investigative authority gone to him and gotten to the bottom of this insurance policy?
Ed, because I think you and I just got to the bottom of it. The insurance policy is Lisa Page, Peter McCabe, and Andy McCabe and Peter Strzok all sitting in a room saying, look, he's not likely to win. But upon the remote chance that he is, we have an insurance policy, which is this FISA investigation. It's a counterintelligence investigation that we launched in July. That was their insurance policy. They just never thought he was going to win.
But doesn't that suggest the Mueller probe? The Mueller probe, was it started with a lie?
I view the Mueller probe as looking into what Russia did to this country in 2016. That part is not a lie. The second part of what Mueller is doing is with whom, if anyone, did they do it. I've seen no indictments, no convictions on the crime of collusion, in part because it's not a crime. But let's say conspiracy to hack the DNC server, conspiracy to hack Podesta's emails. I've seen no indictments of any Americans, much less Trump campaign officials, on either one of those. So, yeah I think Mueller, Russia, yes. Collusion, no.
Got it. Congressman, real quick, I want to be fair because we've been going around about this transcript going after Peter Strzok. His attorney put out this statement, quote, Pete welcomes the release of the transcript, contrary to the impression that the president's allies in Congress tried to create with their selective and often inaccurate leaks. Pete, at all times, the attorney says, discharged his duties honorably, patriotically, and without regard to his personal political opinions. True or false?
That's why you hire lawyers, so you can pay them to say what nobody else in the world would say. I actually do think the transcript should be made public. I'd love for Jerry Nadler to release every bit of it and let the American people see whether or not Peter Strzok is a patriot. Judge for yourselves.
I mentioned this at the top. Barack Obama, as president in 2016, sat down with her own Chris Wallace and was pressed about whether there was any interference by the Obama Justice Department, who was supporting Hillary Clinton, essentially the Obama team. Was there any interference with this FBI investigation on the email and other matters? Here's what he said.
I guarantee that there is no political influence in any investigation conducted by the Justice Department or the FBI, not just in this case, but in any case.
And she will be
full stop, period.
Full stop, period. And yet Lisa Page in another transcript testified again under oath that that same Obama Justice Department told her and others at the FBI, basically, do not prosecute Hillary Clinton. Doesn't that sound like interference?
I don't even have to get to that, Ed. How about what the president said? He said that she had no intent to jeopardize national security. The president himself, not his Department of Justice, he himself, in the middle of an ongoing investigation, said that there was no evidence on the most important evidentiary element, which was intent. He also did it in the IRS targeting scandal. Remember that? He said there was not an ounce of corruption. So that's twice in two high-profile investigations where the top of the executive branch has weighed in. We asked Comey about it. That didn't bother him.
Yeah.
Of course, when Trump says, can you let Flynn go, that's obstruction of justice. But when the president weighs in, it's not.
I got 15 seconds. John Huber was his prosecutor in Utah. He was supposed to get to the bottom of FBI abuses, whether there was a Russia hoax. What's the deal? Do we need to send a search party out to find him? I haven't heard anything from him.
Well, I mean, prosecutors aren't great at handling media. I think Barr's going to make him do his job. The Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, is going to do his job. I think at some point we're going to know all of what happened in 2016, 17, and 18 as it relates to the Department of Bureau.
We shall see if the Attorney General, William Barr, follows up. Congressman Gowdy, appreciate you coming in with your insight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.